that guys use. So,
All right, I pushed the button, so we're live.
all right,
How
awesome.
you doing today, big guy?
Good morning, Ronnie. Real good, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I really was looking forward to talking to you because your military experience. Tell me again how many years you were in the military?
So I tell folks it's really 32-year journey. So I enlisted when I was 17, and when I retired 32 years later, I'd seen the full gamut from Army National Guard time to retiring from the Air Force. Just a blessing and a wonderful journey that my family and I are real happy to be a part of over those years.
Well, dude, 32 years. Thank you for your service. That's quite an accomplishment.
Absolutely. And I understand you're a veteran as well, Ronnie. So
Yeah,
about that. How many years all total? I know
8 total. I did 4 regular Army, which ended up sending me to war. So after that, I was like, I think I'm going to get out. But I stayed in the reserves for about 4 more years.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm obviously a little bit biased, but the whole military concept, anyone who serves to me is a hero. Anyone who gets to retirement's maybe a little bit crazy. Anyone who gets past 20 is definitely full up crazy. But we appreciate everyone who contributes, and it's a select group, so we definitely appreciate your service.
Well, you too, sir. 32 years. You guys, if anything, leave a comment and thank Scott, because 32 years is quite a career. And you know what, guys? What's really cool is, if people join us today, that's fantastic. But we have a 32-year vet who owns a Mr. Handyman Colorado Springs business here in Colorado Springs. And so he's running that business with all of his training and he's been trained for this, so I think it's really exciting to have this type of a business mind on our show today.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ronnie. And it's a great segue. And think about, for the veterans that may or may not see this, and folks that are watching that know veterans, it's such a great opportunity for guys and gals to take all that amazing skills they get from the military and create opportunity for them and their families. Just like you bought a franchise day. That's awesome. It really, the skills that you get from military service, no matter what rank, what level you served at, are absolutely contributing success factors to getting in the world of franchising. And it's kind of a personal journey I'm on now that I've been in it for a year or two, is trying to do more counseling and mentoring of veterans to at least take a look at it. Don't be afraid of it, because it really is operations 101 with a lot more responsibility. And I love it. I think there's a lot more folks that come out of the military that really should not be afraid of the concept of franchising and kind of find one that excites them, because for me, at my age, I wasn't about to develop a business from scratch. And Mr. Handyman provides great training. They provide me a playbook. Just like all the planning we ever did in the military, it's an operation guide, just no different than running an airlift operation in Afghanistan. It's a guide to success, and most military, I think, would do really well looking into franchising and seeing the benefits of being part of it.
That's fantastic. I think you're right. Now, so you currently mentor veterans here in town?
I have a little bit here. In my last life back in Tampa, I had a running basically offer. There's a LinkedIn training class on base. About 40 students went through McDill every month, and the instructor would put out my contact information, and I would offer to buy coffee, breakfast, or lunch to anyone who wanted to talk about transitioning. And I was really blessed. For about 5 years, I got about 5 or 6 offers a month. I loved helping folks, veterans, make that transition. I'm currently involved trying for me personally, to connect with the Skill Bridge program that's allows veterans to work and get skills while they're still on active duty at the end of their careers.
Yeah.
It's up to 6 months, and I currently have one in the queue right now that I'm hoping I can bring on. Obviously, COVID has kind of slowed down some of the processing of the paperwork, but it's a goal of mine. It's a personal desire to make sure that I'm working with veterans here in Colorado Springs. I have some folks over at Peterson, a good friend who's in the world of personnel. He and I have been trying to communicate how we bring the LinkedIn training program to Peterson. So yeah, it's the next step, year 2 and year 3, once I get my feet firmly underneath me with the business, and starting to do more community work.
I tell you what, man, I wouldn't mind looking more into that with you and discussing it. I mean, like, I love talking to people that want to start something, they want to do something. So I'd love to talk to you more about it offline.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm even working with the folks at Mr. Handyman, the recruiters that go out and actually sell franchises. It's again, one of the cool things, and I share this with the audience and you, Ronnie. So my first yearly conference with the group, Mr. Handyman, last summer, the top 10 performers walk across the stage, and
wow.
It's, whether based on revenue or improvement or year-over-year successes, 8 out of 10 of those folks that walked across the stage were veterans.
What?
It was so, like, it hit me like how blessed I was to be part of the group, but to think about the skills and as I look at the multi-million-dollar producers or the million-plus producers, and they're walking across the stage, and I'm like, Army, Navy, Air Force, Army, and they come from all ranks, officer, enlisted alike. And again, it goes back to my earlier comment about the value of what we get from the military, whether it's a 1-year or 1-term enlistment or a 20-year career, 32 years. I sincerely believe that those skills are beneficial to business ownership. And like I said, I think it's part of our early success here at Mr. Handyman for sure.
That's fantastic to hear. I mean, we've got another guy in our BNI group, Mark Lambert. I mean, he's a vet.
Yeah.
And he's like top 10 in the country for his franchise, 5-star painting, so it's funny you point that out. I really hadn't really given that any thought, but now it's like, wow, that's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, and there's that other guy, Jamie, right? So Jamie,
yes, Jamie is like awarded 1% in like the world,
which is hard to do. That's a big pool that he's swimming in, and it really is. Again, we're showing a lot of love for our veterans, but it truly is a skill set that most guys don't realize until you get out and try it. So
yeah, Krakowski, Jamie is the top dog, and it's just like, man, so yeah, I'll talk to you about it more offline, and we could discuss how maybe we could help a few vets in their thinking and help them out,
Absolutely. Would love to do it.
Hey man, so all right, so let's start out. We know it's Mr. Handyman. I'm going to put his website up just in case you guys want to check him out. There's lots of programs and stuff going on. Scott told us he spent 32 years in the military. Then, Scott, what happened when you got out of the military? What did you do next, and what led you to the franchise of Mr. Handyman?
Yeah, so you got to really go back to when I was a kid. I had that entrepreneurial spirit as a kid. I ran a car wash when I was 12. I think about the kind of money my buddy and I used to make at the apartments we lived at. We do 50 cars at $10 a pop, 40 years ago, 35 years ago. And I'm like, man, that's crazy what kind of money that is today.
Yeah.
But it was part of who I was as a kid. The military, my success in the military really, I think, translates into what the leaders in the military actually have to do, right? You have to take situations and continue to improve them. And I think that was part of the underlying spirit of my success as a leader in the Air Force, was this entrepreneurial belief that every time I got to something, my next assignment, I was trying to make it better, improve the lives of those around me. And then when I left the military, I was so blessed. As a wing commander in Tampa, I was part of a network of leaders in the Tampa community, and very fortunate to move into a C-suite position running basically all the retail operations for a $2 billion credit union.
Wow.
And customer service.
$2 billion.
Yeah, 2 with a B, 23 branches and real estate and call centers and training for salespeople and retail folks. And it was a lot of fun. It really, again, it allowed me to transfer skills from the military into civilian life. But the whole time I was there, I was always thinking about that bug in the back of my head that said, hey, you know what? For the last 10 years of my Air Force career, I was like, the next life, I'd really like to own my own business. I really want to do that. And like most, as no matter what kind of success you have in the military, I wasn't ready for transition. It was a decision my wife and I made with a lot of thought and deep, praying. And it came kind of suddenly because it was, hey, you know what, this could be the last assignment. And then we moved into the transition phase, and it happened really fast. So unfortunately, I didn't have the time or the preparation to really look at owning my own business while running a $5 billion organization, MacDill Air Force Base. And so as I transitioned, I was kind of being recruited. I got lucky in getting picked up by the credit union. I'm so thankful for the folks at GTE Financial. But that whole time I was there, I was like, man, once I get my feet stable, I really want to look at what I want to be my second life. And owning a business was always a dream. My dad owned his own business. My father-in-law owned his own business. And I really thought it was a good match for me. And then when I looked at actual businesses, Mr. Handyman is all about service. And I love customer service. I was a young finance officer in the Air Force, taking care of 15,000 people from a customer service standpoint on a base. And I really felt like that was a good match for me. And coupled with 4+ years at the credit union running customer service, it was really a good fit because it's something that's lacking in the trades. And I mean, no offense to all the folks out there swinging hammers and stuff. It sometimes is lacking in the delivery of that service. And I think people deserve more. And I just found it to be a really good match. And I've been really excited to be part of it going on 1.5 years.
Awesome, man. Hey, let's take a pause. Someone did say, don't forget veteran wives. I have to say, let's give it up for them right now. You're absolutely right. I can't see who that commenter was, but no doubt. My aunt is going to be 81, and her husband was a colonel who worked at the Pentagon, also did a tour in Vietnam as a lieutenant. And, she was with him for the entire time. And so definitely thank you, veteran wives.
Yeah, and I'll take it even a step further, and I appreciate that comment because I mean no offense. My wife and I joke at our 20-year anniversary, I gave her the 10-year gift because I literally was gone 50% of the time.
Right.
And she is the rock behind the family. I have 2 wonderful children, but it's the wives and the kids. I'm so blessed to have a 23-year-old successful son, recent college graduate, doing great things as an engineer out there, and a beautiful 14-year-old daughter that it just makes our lives so much more richer and fuller. And yes, absolutely. My success is not possible without the fact that I have a beautiful bride in Marta and 2 wonderful children in Brad and Anna.
Thank you. That's awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate your lead-in story about you and, what drove you to this decision to start this company. But let's talk a little bit about the company. Mr. Handyman, I've seen the trucks in town. I see you every week in my networking group. So this guy's in my networking group. I see him every week. We discuss business and we pass referrals to each other. And I've actually used him. I never thought I'd need a handyman. But, a few years ago, I was recaulking my tub and, 2 days later and being covered in caulk was a bad experience. So I could actually hire Scott's team to do that. And they got it done really quickly. And now it's got me searching through my house for whatever other things I can use him for. So could you give us an idea about what people may not think about when they're thinking about a handyman or hiring you? What could you do that's pretty common jobs or something that they might want to look to?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ronnie. I really encourage folks to start with us. Let us help you decide whether or not it's something in the scope of a handyman, or maybe you need the help of our friends, like Bill Riley, who's a GC, or Mark, a painter. We like to be the focal point to starting that conversation. When we talk to folks, most of what you need done in your house can be done by a handyman, probably 90%, right up to the point where you need a permit or a license. So for a lot of the, home repairs and repairs in commercial sites, it can be done by a handyman. The beauty of the way our model works is I have a team of, guys and gals that work on my team. The guys, they have such a broad spectrum of experience. We've got guys with 15 years experience, built houses, to guys that have been handymen for 30 years, right?
Wow.
So what that does is it allows me to match the customer requirement with the right technician to get that job done effectively. You know what kind of rate you're going to get billed at. We have a great system. We're time and materials. We don't bid jobs, which is a little bit different. We have an automated system. You sign in on the iPad when we show up. When we're done, we hit complete. It says, hey, you were there for an hour and 7 minutes. Our rules are you get billed for an hour and you never get overbilled. So we like to tell folks that, you know, the ability of a handyman to do a lot of things in your home is really a great thing. And what's beautiful about our model, and now that we're in year 2, I'm starting to get calls from our first year customers, and it's so exciting. I mean, I talked to a young sergeant in the Army yesterday.
Yeah.
We helped her like back in March of last year. She was having a baby. Her husband was deployed. They were having a second kid. And I called her yesterday. I was like, Sergeant R, hey, how you doing? It's been a year. How's the baby? And it's just so cool to see repeat customers come back to us. And that's the model. The model really is we want to be your kind of Shell answer man. You know, I'm showing my age from the commercials from Shell Oil, you know, the Shell answer man, right?
Yeah.
20 or 30 years ago. And we really do want to be your one-stop shopping for all your home and business repair and maintenance needs. And if we can't do it, the good thing is we've got a beautiful network of folks from both B&I and inside the community where I'm going to tell you, you know, hey, this is outside our scope. One of our guys, we got a call yesterday. The guy's like, hey, my truck won't fit in my garage. Can you just extend my garage 6 inches? Oh, I wish I could, you know, but now you're talking structural and things that go into that. And that's a simple call over to Bill and Carlton Homes and, you know, hey, Bill, can you give this guy a call? And what I've now done is created a relationship with that customer that we didn't get to help him the first time, but hopefully he'll call us again in the future and we can be their provider of solutions. And that's really what it comes down to, as well as provide this awesome experience because all the guys are trained in the handyman way. It's a 13-step process. We screen, we background check, we bond, insure all my guys. We're looking for a certain caliber of technicians. And Ronnie, you saw that firsthand. I'm just not putting somebody in your house that doesn't represent this brand really well. And
I couldn't tell they were there. You know, it was like fantastic. I could tell the job was done, but I couldn't tell that they were there. You know, so when I got home, I was like, man, this is fantastic.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And that's the difference between really, you know, like a professional handyman service / experience versus, hey, I got this guy's card off a billboard at the line, you know, that kind of thing. And I respect those guys. They're all out there trying to make a buck and doing the best they can. But we do provide a premier service. And that's, we're trying to find folks that value that. It's a value added when I show up at your house.
Nice. And so people could think about that, you know, like there's fences and deck jobs. And I see on the website here, I just pulled up the website. The website is, if you guys want to check it out, it's mrhandyman.com / Colorado-Springs, or maybe that's /. But I see him pressure washing a deck. I'm like, man, like these fences in their neighborhood are getting older and they need to be treated, you know. And so you guys do that kind of stuff too?
Yeah, we sure do. And, you know, if it wasn't COVID, we'd be doing a bunch of them right now. And when we first opened last year, I swear the month of March, I was like, I didn't know I opened a fence and deck company because about 80% of our work from March to April was, you know, we had the big cyclone bomb, windstorms.
Cyclone,
yeah. So blown down fences, small fence repairs, deck repairs, fencing, power washing, staining, those kind of things. Those are great springtime jobs for people to consider. And what I'd ask folks is to, you know, don't be afraid to call us in April. Let us get you on the calendar. I truly believe that, you know, our government and the professionals have done a great job taking care of this madness called COVID-19. I think, you know, as a society, it's commendable to see the American response to it. I firmly believe that we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We still have a long journey to go. I don't doubt that, but I do see, you know, hope the month of May starting to change the perspective and opening up that aperture and hopefully finding the ability to get back to normalcy. it might not be May 1st, but man, hopefully in May and June, we start to get back to being normal as can be.
Yeah.
So we encourage people to call now. We book about a week to 2 weeks out in advance right now. We're running kind of a min crew doing essential work only. We will provide, full CDC guidelines for our guys. If you're concerned with us in your house, they all are equipped with masks and gloves and booties and disinfectant wipes. So we'll take good care of your property if you have those essential repairs, but also be thinking about how we get people back to work in May. And I'm still interviewing and I'm excited because I know there's a lot of people that are calling us for big deck jobs and getting ready to get those home repairs that would normally have started in, March and April. Now I'm thinking we'll start it in May and June, and we'll get through this. We're a great American culture and society, and I have no doubt we'll be better for it in the end of this. At the same time, I fully understand the loss and feel for all those folks deeply impacted by COVID, but we'll make it, and I'm proud of what our country's doing right now.
Absolutely. I love your energy, man. You're great. And, you already answered the question. The next question was going to be, what are you doing to get ready for May? And so you're still hiring.
Yeah.
And you're still getting everything ready. And what else are you doing to kick this thing off in May? Because this is going to bust loose. We're going to open this country back up. And, like you said, it may not be right away, but, you're going to be ready for it is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. My military background, I've got years in strategy and planning. So it's ingrained in my brain. As much as I look at today, I'm looking 30 to 60, 90 days out.
Right.
And as a business owner, we all have to be. And for our friends that are out there, business owners, maybe joining the group, we're going to see this at a later time. It's easy to get focused on today because it is so in our face with all the media and the reports. But the reality is you got to be looking to May and June. And what is your plan for success starting on May 1st? And it may be just getting one customer through the door a day, but how do you get back to 10 a day or 100 a week or whatever those numbers are in your business discipline? And that to me is the most important thing. Is we have been through so much over the last 30 to 60 days. It's very easy not to be looking forward, but it's the middle of April, folks. And
well, you know what?
That's right there.
That point you just made, I don't know if many people heard that, but you're like, we're going to be ready for May 1st, whether the country's ready or not. So like, instead of, well, let's see what happens on May 1st, then I'll get ready.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm hearing you correctly, that's what you're saying. You're like, guys, if you're a business owner, you've got to get everything in place, working on your business right now for everything to execute May 1st. Now, granted, there may be some give or take at that point, but you don't want to be waiting until May 1st and then try to get ready on that day.
Yeah, and just think about a couple things. Like right now, my supply chain for PPE, masks, rubber gloves, booties, is anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, right? So if I wait till May 1st when the government says, hey, May 1st, owners of businesses, you can go and start to get back to normal, I can't really start that till the end of June. So that's one aspect of what, I encourage my peers and small businesses to be thinking about. But the second part is, for me, I'm not just pulling people off the street and putting them in Ronnie's house. I'm training them. Every one of my folks gets at least a week training. They go out on the road, they shadow for a week. It's a process to get great technicians, skilled technicians, adapted to the Mr. Handyman way. And that's a process. And it's a well-defined process. It can be a minimum of 1 to 2 weeks to 3 to 4 weeks. So again, the last thing I want to do is you're sitting at your home waiting for the ability to get me in your home to take care of repairs. You want to help get the economy going again. You want to start getting back to normal. And you call me on 1 May and I'm like, well, I only have 3 people. Sorry. I'll be out in July. Right. I just can't do that. And I want to also be contributing to that economic recovery. Right. I want guys to be hired, in place, trained and ready to go when the call comes. And I'm willing to take a little bit of that risk on the front end so that I can know that I, as a business owner, did my part. Right. there's a lot of business owners out there sitting back saying, hey, the government's going to take care of it. Unemployment. Sorry, I can't help you. For me personally, these are my team members. They're my family. I need and want them to know that good times and bad, they're part of our team, and we're going to do everything we can to weather the storm, and we will. I have no doubt we will weather this storm, and we'll be better nation for it. And I smile because I just talked to one of my classmates from the owner's course about a year and a half ago, and he's like, Scott, man, I never would have thought of this in the first year of owning business. I'm like, man, Jeff, there can't be anything worse than what we just did. You know what I mean? I honestly, if you think about year one, what else could be worse than having to, adjust and weather this tremendous storm? And like I said, I'm proud of my team members. I'm proud of Americans for doing what they're doing, the folks in Colorado for keeping each other safe. And again, it's there. I can see it. And I appreciate where we're headed, and we're going to be safer for it come early May, June timeframe.
I think you're right, man. No doubt. So great. We've been going on for like 27 minutes, 25 minutes. Did you have anything else for handyman stuff? Like, I'd like to point out that people, give this guy a shot, check him out. A lot of these jobs that I tell myself I'm going to do end up not getting done or costing me way more than what I thought it was, and I still have to do it by myself. So I love that I have access to you, and I can ask you about particular jobs around my house and get those things done.
Yeah, absolutely, Ronnie. And we get phone calls, just call us. And if it's something, I literally spent 45 minutes on the phone with a widow who had a trip GFI in her bathroom. And she's like, Scott, I can't blow dry my hair. Can you come out to my house? And I'm like, hey, let's talk through this first. And I literally walked her through her house. She checked all the GFIs. And then I was like, all right, it's got to be in your circuit breaker. Go out to the circuit breaker in your garage. She's like, I've never touched a circuit breaker. And I'm like,
button on the GFI.
Yeah. And, amazingly, after about 30 or 40 minutes, she figured it out. And again, it wasn't me saying, hey, let me rush to your house and bill you an hour to come out and fix your problem. I truly believe that if we can help people, whether it's over the phone or coming out to your house, that's the model I want us to run here at Mr. Handyman. And that's fundamentally who I am as a business owner. We want to be the answer provider, the solution provider. So that's a good thing. And kind of the last thing, Ronnie, I'm so thankful for you having me on the show. I mean, what you do with you and the other business owners, the BNI group, this is an amazing venue. I appreciate what you're doing and feel honored to be part of it. I do.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Give me your phone number so I can put it up on the screen.
All right, 719-249-6880.
All right, so if you guys want to check with Scott, there's his information. Call Scott for handyman jobs, 719-249-6880.
Perfect.
So, yeah, dude, I mean, me and you will be in BNI tomorrow morning, our networking group at 8 o'clock. Business as usual, right? We're just going to get through this and move positively and try to do this as efficiently as possible so that when this comes back, we're going to be ready.
Absolutely. And again, folks, I know we're getting to the end of most people's patience. I'm seeing a lot more cars on the road. I know people are feeling the heat of being, cooped up in their houses and stuff. Just breathe, be kind to your neighbors. We'll get through this and we'll be a better society on the backside.
Absolutely.
It's there. We just need to stay together as a team. And again, it's there. It's on the horizon. Keep the big picture. Keep your eye on the target. The target is getting back to civilized, normal life, and it's right around the corner.
Right on, man. All right. Well, cool. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed talking to Scott. And if you never thought about using a handyman before, I would highly suggest you give him a call because I've had a great experience with them. And I've just gotten to that age where I can't do it all anymore. So my wife would probably say I never could, but it's all good.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, you have a great day. I'm going to take a we can talk in the back room.
All right. Thank you, sir.